Are you guys ready for your headliner? Danny Rathbun!
Hey guys, thank you for coming out to Only Dance. I gotta say, I got a bone to pick with QED. They were not checking IDs at the door. I'm not convinced everyone in this audience is a Dan. I think they could have been a Greg or a Steven who slipped in. What is your name, sir?
Colin.
Security! Security! I can't believe that worked. My name is Danny Rathbun. People have a hard time with that name, Danny Rathbun. It was changed at Ellis Island. I used to be Gary Rathbun. I went to Ellis Island. It's a bad island. It's not a fun island. They build it up to be so much more than it is. They build it up to be this monument to human suffering, and you go there, you want to see the plight of the immigrants, and you get there and you find out it's just the museum of the DMV. That's all it is. It's just a tour guide taking you around like, right here, people stood in line for 17 hours. And over here, they stood in line for 20 hours. And right there, that's where they stood in line just to get into that line. And you're like, wow. You're telling me my great-grandfather might have been bored out of his mind right where I'm standing. Really come full circle, doesn't it? And they changed all the names. They changed the immigrants' names. If you got a long name, you got a weird name, they just don't like your name, whatever. They change it. These people, it's amazing the sheer lack of creativity of these people. Every name, they're just like fucking Smith now. They had unlimited power to change your name to anything they want, and you gotta stick with that name. And all your descendants have to stick with that name forever. And they always seem to go with Smith. There's not one guy walking around like, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Tony Diaper Fetish. Look, it's changing Ellis Island. There's nothing I can do about it. I wanted to be a tough guy growing up. It didn't happen. Didn't work out that way. Nobody does comedy because they just weren't punched enough growing up. That doesn't. I had too many friends. That's why I got into comedy. I went. This is true. I don't remember what high school. I don't know what high school was like anymore. I'm old enough to I have memories of high school. I have physical evidence of what high school is like, and there's zero overlap between those two. I was a popular guy in high school. I had a lot of friends. I dated several women, and then I also have a yearbook that has one signature, and it's someone who wrote, "I don't know who you are." Signed Howard. Joke's on him. I have no idea who Howard is. I told that story to a couple of friends in high school. I got together with them. You know what's weird is, remember how I was super popular in high school, and they're all like, no! Not even no. They were like, no! Like when you see a toddler running into a busy street, no! You were not popular, no! Wanted to be popular. Wanted to be tough more than that. I wanted to be tough. My friend my friend's older brother is his brother Bobby. He was a very tough guy. He was always talking to us. He always telling us about all the people he was going to fight. And in retrospect, I don't know that he followed through on any of these. But on paper, he was a very tough guy. He won a lot of fights in theory. I remember when the whole Catholic Church pedophile priest scandal came out, Bobby had a lot of opinions. He's like, oh, these fucking priests. I wish one of these priests would try to molest me. Try to molest me and see what happens. We had to be like, well, Bobby, if a priest molests a grown man who wished for it to happen, that's kind of a different scenario. That's just a gay relationship at that point. That is a much smaller scandal if that's what was going on. That's almost a wholesome scandal in comparison. Just, oh no, there's too many priests having consensual sex. What are we going to do about this? They keep hugging and kissing men who want to hug and kiss them back. Oh no! I wanted to be tough so bad. I used to, in my neighborhood, everyone used to talk about like whose dad could beat up whose dad. This was very important to get to you had to determine the hierarchy of dads. Very important to determine this. It was important to the kids. The dads weren't concerned about the hierarchy of dads. But every little boy believes his neighborhood is seconds away from erupting into a thunderdome of dad-on-dad violence. And they need to know they've got the winning dad. So we'd argue about this. And I remember I got so angry because Michael Remington said that his dad could beat up my dad. And I ran to my dad to tell him this. I'm like, Dad, Michael Remington said his dad could beat you up. And my dad was like, yeah, I don't know, probably. He's a big guy. He probably, yeah, I don't know, maybe, yeah. Which is a reasonable response, but not the fun response, not the response I wanted. And I remember just goading him and just like trying to get him to fight him. And you ever look back and you realize if you'd gotten what you wanted, it would have been like a traumatic memory. Like my dad just like, he said what? No, fuck this, we're gonna settle this. He marches over to the Remington's house. Mr. Remington's out in the front lawn, like watering it. He's like, hey Dave, how you doing? My dad just cold cocks him. Just starts wailing on him, just puts him into a coma. And just as the police are hauling my dad away, all the neighborhood boys looking around like, you know, Danny's dad wins. He's the top dad. He's the winner of this. I wanted my dad to be tough in the worst. I remember I used to ask him, Dad, what if I got kidnapped? What would you do? Would you punch out the kidnapper? And he said, no, I just pay them. Which is, again, the correct response. But it's not a fun answer. And then I remember I was kept trying to go to my Dad. What if the kidnappers asked for like a lot of money though? Like a lot of money. And I threw out the biggest number my 5-year-old brain could conceive of. I'm like, Dad, what if the kidnappers asked for $100? He's like, would I pay off the world's most reasonable kidnappers? Is that the question? And that's barely kidnapping. That's more like surprise babysitting. Mr. Rathbun, we have your son. If you ever want date night with your wife to end, you will bring $100 in unmarked cash. But be warned, for every half hour past midnight you stay out, the price will go up by an additional $15. Tick-tock, Mr. Rathbun. Tick-tock. I started taking karate because I wanted to learn how to defend myself. Turns out there's way more people trying to fight me in karate class than there ever was outside of it. I had to start taking judo just so I could get through karate. It's a very specific form of self-defense, karate. A lot of what they teach you is like, okay, here's what you do if someone tries to use karate on you. Which is not a situation that comes up outside of karate class. I'm worried I'm going to be out somewhere with my wife and we're going to get like mugged and she's going to be like, get him, you take karate, get him. I'm like, no, he has shoes on, I didn't train for this. Let's get his shoes off, put his pajamas on, and then I can handle this. I had to talk with my sensei about this. My sensei, what do you, I mean, all this is great, but like, what do you do if someone tries to pull a gun on you? What do you do with that? He's like, oh, you want to learn how to fight someone with a gun? Here's what you do. Here's the move. I'm going to teach you guys this right now. This could save your life. Remember this. He said, you put your left foot out in front of you, right foot behind you, shoulder width apart. Then you want to twist your hips. The hip twist, very important. Twist the hips. Put your right hand behind you, and then you twist the hips, and you twist back, and you say, "Here's my wallet. Here's my wallet." That's the move. Gotta practice that. Here's my wallet. I went to the mechanic the other day, and I took that is the most emasculating experience, going to the mechanics. The mechanics are all the most manly men. They're all sweaty and hairy and greasy. Got so much dirt under their fingernails. They're all wearing jumpsuits. I always feel like guys in jumpsuits are looking down on me. I always feel like they're looking at me like, oh, I see your shirt and pants are two separate articles of clothing. You pussy. My mechanic, his name is Bashir. He is, of all the manly mechanics, Bashir is the most manly. He's the toughest, most fast. He's an Afghani refugee. He used to be in the Afghani Special Forces. Every time I go in, he ends up telling me the same stories. Like about this time, he was kidnapped from the Taliban. He's like, they took me from my home. They bind my hands behind my back. They blindfold me. They put a gun to my head. They said, beg for your life, and maybe we'll let you go. I said, no. They spit on me. They said, beg, dog. Beg for your life. I said, no. They kicked me. They beat me. They said, beg. I said, no. They said, beg. I said, no. They said, beg. I said, no. They put a gun to my head. They said, beg. I said, no. They pulled the hammer of the gun. They said, beg. I said, no. They pulled the trigger. Click. They said, not yet, dog. Not yet. Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. Every day they do this to me. Every day. Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. For 10 days. 10 days. Every day. Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. On the 10th day, I break the bindings behind my back. I overpower the guard. I'm like, dude, I gotta meet my wife at Pinkberry in 20 minutes. Can we? I so want Bashir's respect. I want it so bad. I so want him to believe he caught me on like the one day I'm not wearing my jumpsuit. And I lie to him so much. He always wants to present everything to me as a choice. He can never just say, here's what's wrong with your car. He's always like, well, I don't know what you want me to do. We can recalibrate the flux capacitor, or we can replace the fuel gauge. I don't know what you want. And I just end up just repeating things I've heard my dad say when he's working in his car. So I'm just like, well, you know, Bashir, the thing is the socket wrench is very important. The oil change is your mother and I are getting a divorce. You want to hear some characters? This is the dumbest joke I've ever written. This is the comedian who does not know how to steal jokes. Is the comedian who does not know how to steal jokes. People do not respect Rodney Dangerfield. That guy, he does not get any respect. I mean, his parents didn't give him the sex talk. They gave him the let's be friends talk. I mean, people do not respect that guy. Anyway, get her done. This is my other character. This is the guy who likes the idea of musicals, but he's never actually seen one performed. He's only read the lyrics. You say potato, I say potato, 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 potato. The two dumbest jokes I've ever written. We have bad. I was reading this book about Johnny Appleseed, and I know another comedian with a Johnny Appleseed bit. I know you're sick of it, but this is for the TikTok. The Zoomers, they're all about Johnny Appleseed. They love it. I was reading this book about Johnny Appleseed, and let me tell you, if you think you know everything there is to know about Johnny Appleseed, you are correct. The man wore a pot in his head. He threw apple seeds everywhere. There's not a third fact to know Johnny Appleseed. All of you just became leading world experts in the field of Johnny Appleseed. We have the worst folk heroes in this country. We got Johnny Appleseed, we got Paul Bunyan, the laziest character in all of fiction. I don't care if I get canceled. I'm taking a stand on that one. Fucking lazy Paul Bunyan. That is a business major in a creative writing class level idea. Hey, teach, I wrote this short story. It's about a lumberjack. But here's the twist. You know, most lumberjacks are regular size. Not this guy. Side note, how come European giants are like just giants? And American giants are like, yeah, being tall doesn't pay the rent. I also need a blue-collar job. We got U.S. Senator and raccoon hat enthusiast Davy Crockett. I am more prepared to give the sex talk to my future children than the Davy Crockett talk. I'm worried for that one. Like, Dad, what was Davy Crockett famous for? Well, he was the king of the wild frontier. He killed a bear when he was only 3, and died at the Alamo fighting for the rights of Texans to own slaves. What was that last one? Killed a bear. Whatever happened to Davy Crockett? No one knows. Don't look it up. And then, of course, we've got John Henry. John Henry, if you don't know the story of John Henry was a steel driving man. He worked on the railroad. He'd drive the spikes in the railroad, and he was the best spike driver around. Then one day someone brought a machine that could drive spikes faster than any man, and was going to put everybody out of a job. And John Henry challenged the machine to a competition, to a race, to see who could drive spikes faster. And they had this race all day long. He drove spikes, the machine drove spikes, and he drove spikes. And at the end of the day, John Henry drove one more spike than the machine. And it was this beautiful triumph of man over machine. John Henry has won, and he laid down and he died of exhaustion and his moment of triumph. And that's where everyone stops talking. No one ever talks about day 2 when the machine just kept fucking going. Everyone leaves that part of the story. I love the story of John Henry because there's such a narrow window in time where the idea of a man beating machine is both plausible and romantic. Like in 2024, if John Henry it would just be a guy like, I can gather porn faster than any computer. He just dies outside a 7-Eleven just holding cases of big asses as the computer finishes downloading porn of every single person on Earth. I had a lot of stupid friends in high school, and now, but mostly high school. High school for the purpose of this, and I thought they were stupid. They didn't think they were stupid. Stupid people never believe that they're stupid. They just say like, "No, I'm not stupid. I just don't test well," which is how stupid people test. As the metric we use to determine who the stupid people are. They're the ones who don't test well. Can't do that with anything else. Can't be like, no, I'm not fat. I'm just very bad at being weighed. Stupid people always think they're smart, just not in a way that applies to the situation. Or it's like, no, I'm just not math smart. Or science smart. Or history smart. Or politics smart. Or geography smart. I don't know how to use air quotes. I don't understand sarcasm, and I'm not creative, and I can't cook, and I don't have a good sense of humor, and I hate books, and I can't play an instrument. I can't speak any other languages. I don't have good interpersonal skills. I don't have good long-term organizational planning skills. I don't have know a lot of words. But street smarts, I don't have those. I'm the kind of smart where you know a lot of Boy Meets World trivia. That's the kind of smart I am. I know every fact about Boy Meets World. Somebody shout out a Boy Meets World trivia question. I will answer any question that anyone has.
What year did it come on?
Not that one. Different question. It's got to be a good. Who's got a better question than that?
Who
Not that, different question. Who's got like a really good one? Nobody's got a really good one?
How many seasons?
No, I gotta move on with this. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for all these. I'm stupid too. I used to be a conspiracy theorist. Not anymore. In 2015, that was like a fun hobby. In 2024, that is a lifestyle. There's no more like Easter and Christmas, like I'm a little into conspiracy. No, it's either everything the government has ever said is true, or the flat Earth is run by a cabal of lizard people. And you gotta pick a side. There's no more in between. My favorite conspiracy was the JFK assassination. That's a fun one because there's all these terms in the JFK assassination that do not show up anywhere else in the English language. Like the second shooter, he wasn't on a hill. He was on a grassy knoll. I've never seen a knoll in my life. And these people think there's so many knolls around, they have to be specific about which one. Then Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK from the book depository. If you ever hear someone use the term book depository, and the sentence doesn't start with Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK from the arrest them. Arrest. There's no other context in which anyone uses that term. Yeah, I don't even know what a book depository is besides a place you go to kill the president. They should have a book depository in every major city. And as soon as you walk in, Chris Hansen steps out. It's like, what are you doing here? Why are you at the book depository? We have bad names for murders in this country. We have bad names. It starts off okay and it gets worse as the murders get less severe. Like first degree homicide. Ooh, that's a good name for a murder. Ooh, that's a good name. It's got Latin, it's got a number, it sounds clinical, it sounds detached. That's the kind of term I expect to hear from someone who's gone to law school. Then you take a step down, second degree homicide. Kind of coasting off first degree homicide's wake there. But whatever, it's fine. It's a fine name for murder. Because another step down, all of a sudden we take a hard left turn into manslaughter. Manslaughter, that's too extreme. First of all, third degree homicide was right there. They didn't say, hey, we got the Ford F-150, we got the Ford F-250, what should we call the new truck? I know, how about the Ford Bone Ripper? It's so extreme. That's not a name for a crime. That's like a pro wrestler's name. That sounds like they're saying, like, okay, well, we've got you on 2 counts of possession of a Schedule I controlled substance and 1 count of being a Hulkamaniac. If you can't, both those things cannot be crimes together. You get one or you get the other. Good news. They were trying to get you on practicing medicine without a license. I was able to talk them down to witchcraft. Witches were my big fear when I was a kid. I was so scared of witches. And my dad's solution was to teach me all about the Salem witch trials. He's like, Danny, don't worry. There's no such thing as witches. It's just a bunch of innocent women who were burned to death by villagers. Which did not cure my fear of witches so much as it created my fear of villagers. I went up to Salem a few months ago to see all the witch stuff. And they've got a big memorial there. They dedicated this memorial. They officially pardoned all the victims, all the people who were killed in the Salem witch trials in 1992. Which is too late for that to have happened. Let me paint a quick mental picture for you. The year is 1991. Grunge is tearing up the charts. Sega has just released Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And the state of Massachusetts still on the fence about the existence of witches. Massachusetts stopped believing in witches around the same time I did. That's too late. You guys remember when the stereotype of a bad cop used to be just a guy who ate too many donuts? And at some point we're all collectively like, I don't know if that's the worst thing cops do. Technically, if you've got a cop and like the worst thing he's ever done is eat a bunch of donuts, that's a good cop. That's like a Hall of Fame level police officer if that's his worst sin. People don't like, some people don't like that joke. People don't like, they're like, they come up to me after, like, what are you going to do if we defund the police? Who do you think, who are you going to call if you get robbed? I don't think the police are doing as much as you think they're doing. I don't think, people who are really into the police, I think have never dealt with the police. It's the movies you're thinking of. The cops in the movies are the ones you want. That's what you want. You want the cops who, like, you get robbed, they're like kicking the door with the guns, like, where is he? Let's get him. They dust for fingerprints everywhere. They bring out the black light and check everything for cum. That's what you think is going to happen. I've been robbed a lot. They never check for cum. Not once. As far as I know, my apartment could have been covered in cum. There's no way to know. I've been robbed a lot. I used to live in a very bad neighborhood with a roommate who was addicted to heroin. So we had sort of a take a TV, leave a TV policy in our apartment. I come home, you're like, the TV's missing. So we got robbed again. I'm like, wow, there seems to be some sort of crime wave located entirely within our apartment. I wonder if the police have any leads on this. I bring out like the bulletin board with like a big map of the city with like a bunch of push pins right at our apartment. I go, look, I know it's subtle, but I think there might be a pattern here. It seems the criminal strikes every time. He always strikes after I've left for work, but right before you get high. I wonder if there's a pattern. Let's check for cum. Let's see if that does anything. I got a hot cousin. Is this relatable? Is this you got a hot cousin too? It's a struggle, isn't it? My cousin is it's not me saying that. He was on The Bachelorette, so they don't let ugly people on that show. It's like scientific. They did the testing. Turns out he's a dreamboat. Came back positive for that. I can't tell you how maddening it is to realize that the only thing standing between me and being tall, dark, and handsome are my dad's genes. Turns out that was the problem this whole time. If my mom had taken one for the team and just fucked her brother, I could be hot right now. I would have other things going on, but I would have 11 of the sexiest fingers you've ever seen. I thought I was doing pretty okay for what I'd been given until Aaron got on the Bachelorette. I got fitted for a suit last year, and the tailor told me this is absolutely true. He measures me, and he's like, "Wow, you have an extremely normal body." I'm like, "Wow, take that, every woman I've ever dated." I'm losing my hair, which is that's the hardest thing to say on stage, because like hair is for men like what weight is for women. Like, every time I walk into a room, I got to compare myself to all the other guys, checking all the hairlines, looking around like, oh, this guy's got a great head of hair. You slut. I used to have like really thick, long hair when I was like 15, and my dad is bald. I used to give my dad so much shit about his hair. He'd always try to get me to cut it. I'm like, oh, Dad, you're just jealous. Cue ball, baldy, blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. I'm 15. And start to feel mean at some point. I'd be like, you know what, Dad? I'm sorry. Let me take it back. He'd be like, no, keep going. No, I want to hear this. No, in fact, let me get the video camera. I want you to remember this day in 30 years when you look like a heterosexual Mr. Clean. I want you to remember that you mocked me for an hour, but Heredity has mocked you for a lifetime. Guys come up to me after the show and they want to give me hair advice. Guys come up to me like, oh, you know what you gotta do. You know what the move is. You're losing hair. You know what you do. You know what you do. You know what you do. Gotta shave your head. That's the move. Gotta shave your head. That's like going up to someone on the side of the road. Like, oh, you got a flat tire. Got a flat tire. Got a flat tire. You know what you do for a flat tire. You gotta slash the other three. That's how you handle a flat tire. I think we have too much faith in crematorium operators. Don't we? Don't we have too much faith in that? I bought a PS2 off a guy in Craigslist. I had so many questions. I'm like, what is this? Where is that? What are you doing? Where are you? Why are you selling this? A stranger handed me a bag of dirt. He's like, here's your grandpa. I'm like, yep. I trust you. Gray particulate, about 3 pounds, identical to the other 700 bags of dirt in the back of your store. Absolutely, 100% believe you. It's a weird thing, cremation. It's a weird, you put your loved ones in an oven, you just burn them. You just burn them until there's nothing but dust. It doesn't feel like a respectful thing to do to someone you love. It's not even a respectful thing to do to a ham. It feels like something you do to someone you're really angry at. It's like you punish them. It's like, here, fuck you, Grandpa. You go in the oven now. And when you cut out, I'm not even keep your ashes together. I'm gonna spread them in the ocean. You can make them go everywhere. It feels like a scheme hatched by some old man who's like way too worried about necrophiliacs. That's what it feels like to me. Just his guy is talking to his grandson. He's like, well, Timmy, I'm an old man now, and I'm going to be dead soon. And Grandpa's made some enemies in his day. And when I die, people will try to have sex with me. So what you got to do, you got to put me in that oven, and you got to burn me. You gotta burn me till there's nothing left to fuck. That's the only way that we can stop these monsters. There's no good way to transition into this next joke. Women are like sex more than men, right? Women like sex more than men. If you have two people, one of them comes like this. Oh God, yes, fuck me, yes, oh God, fuck, yes, and the other one comes like this. Who sounds like they're having more fun in this situation? When a woman comes, it sounds like she's having like a religious experience. When a man comes, it sounds like he just sharted in a business meeting. There's no comparison. Women enjoy sex in like such a healthier way than men do too. Women like sex the way like a foodie likes a great meal. Women are like, oh, that was some great dick I got. Some lovely dick. I'm going to have to get dick there again sometime. Men like sex the way a crackhead likes crack. If a man hasn't come in 2 weeks, he's out on the streets like, come on, man, I'll suck your dick for a blowjob. Come on, I need this. Women will talk with their friends about sex. Men, there's no conversation. We never talk. We have one question we'll say to our friends. We'll say, hey, man, you get laid last night? Nice. And no follow-ups. Never a follow-up. I don't even know what I could ask as a follow-up that wouldn't make me sound like a crazy person. Hey, you get laid last night? Nice. What was how many, when did, where is, what did, who, how is the, where, when, she got tits? Nice. No, yeah, I'm into that too. When I was a kid, I always wanted video games for Christmases and birthdays. My parents said, no, too violent. So instead, I got Clue, the board game that's straight up about murder. That is the most violent board game. That is a board game for ages 6 and up, where there's like a 1 in 5 chance someone got their head caved in with a wrench. It's the most insanely... And they were the worst detectives in this game. They could not figure out the room that the murder took place in. Was it the kitchen? Was it the hallway? Was it the study? I don't know. Which one has a dead body in the middle of it? You think that's a clue? They could not... You remember that from the OJ trial? Johnny Cochran's like, well, if she wasn't killed in the hall, he's not guilty at all. They could not figure out the weapon that was used. I mean, pipe, wrench, candlestick. I'll give you those. Those are kind of similar. Knife, rope, gun. If you can't figure out whether it was a rope or a gun, maybe you're not the person to lead a homicide investigation. They used to have more weapons in this game too. I did research for this bit. They used to have an axe and poison and a bomb. That's the level of detective work we're dealing with. We've had the whole CSI team working overnight on this one. We've narrowed the murder weapon down to either poison or a bomb. It's one of those two. If the library's like missing, I think it just bombed library. Let's fucking go home. This could be a real quick case. You can tell Clue is not set in New York because the answer to every game of Clue would be like, who shot him? I don't know. None of my business. I got shit to do. I don't have time to investigate every murder I come across. I gotta get to work. I love vampires, but I love vampire movies. But every vampire movie makes vampires out to be too powerful. Every vampire movie has a scene where they say how nothing can kill the vampire, and then they list 47 exceptions to that rule. I was like, oh, the vampire is immortal, he's unstoppable, he can't be killed. The only thing that can stop a vampire is wooden stakes, holy water, fire, silver, crucifixes, decapitation, certain spices, and most weather conditions. Those are the only 8 things that can stop a vampire. There's only like 6 things that can stop a regular person. Knife, rope, gun, candlestick. That's too many weaknesses. There's no other monster that has this issue. You never see like a werewolf movie where they're like, the only thing that can stop a werewolf is a silver bullet. Or a regular bullet. Or just like hitting it with your car. That would be fine. The other day, I wanted to get some lunch, so I go to this place called Papa Murphy's. Because who knows pizza like the Irish? And after I go in, I pay for my food. They're like, oh, by the way, just so you know, this is a take and bake restaurant. It's take and bake. If you guys don't know take and bake, that's where they don't cook your food. And that's it. That's the entire thing. They took a health code violation and they made it a theme. There are 1,300 of these in the U.S. and 2 in Dubai. This is a successful restaurant. They made a pizza place in Dubai where they don't cook your food, and it did so well they had to open up a second one to not cook more people's food. I'm so obsessed by that. I just love the idea of just like the commercial for this. Like this guy is arguing with his girlfriend. He turns to the camera like, "Durr! She wants to spend the whole evening cooking over a hot stove, but I want to go to an overpriced restaurant. Why isn't there a pizza place for both of us?" Introducing Papa Murphy's. It's the inconvenience of a grocery store at the price of a restaurant. I'm gonna open up a barber shop It's called Uncle Baldy's. People come in like, can I get a haircut? I'm like, no. This is a snip and dip barbershop. So what that is, we give you a pair of scissors and tell you to get the fuck out of our store. Snip and dip. My wife is a vegan, and I'm kind of gradually moving in that direction. I'm like a semi-vegan. Like I still eat meat every day, but I'm racked with guilt about it. That's like the level of veganism I've reached. And it's hard to argue with her because vegans have much better arguments than we do. She's just like, well, it's better for your health. It's better for the environment. You're killing things that don't have to be killed. And that's cruel. It's cruel. And I'm like, yeah, but the chickens are dumb as hell, though. I'm much smarter than the chicken. I can eat things that I'm smarter than. Which is a dangerous precedent to set. There's a lot of people smarter than I am. Neil deGrasse Tyson just walks around like just an all-you-can-eat buffet wherever he goes. It's hard to, you can't, I just gotta pretend like I don't know that meat is animals. That's the only way to feel okay about my diet. I just gotta be like, no, it's not, it's different. It's just, I would never eat a cow. Cows are gentle, innocent, beautiful creatures. I would never eat a cow. I eat beef. It's a different word. Totally different word. I would never eat I would never eat pig. Pigs are smart. Pigs are smarter than dogs. I would never eat a pig. I eat pork. It's a different word. I would never eat just a tube of garbage. I eat hot dogs. Totally different word. I gotta just lie all the time. That's the only way to feel okay about my diet is just to lie to myself. Bologna's an easy one to lie about. Nobody's like, no, you ever see a wild bologna? It's very easy to pretend that's not an animal. There's no Indians out there like, oh, before the white man came to this country, the plains were covered in bologna. My people use every part of the bologna. Especially that round circular bit. I had a moment a few years ago where I was hit with the hypocrisy of the way I look at meat. I was in Vietnam. I was out with some friends who were Vietnamese, and they wanted to take me to a restaurant that serves dogs. I was like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. They're like, no, what's the problem? What's the problem? You eat meat. You eat animals. Dog's an animal. Why can't you eat dogs? I'm like, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. The only animals it's okay to eat are cows and pigs and chickens. And turkeys. And ducks. And geese. Moose. Elk. Reindeer. Regular deer. Trout. Salmon. Snails. Lobsters. Crawfish. Crawdads. Crabs. Mussels. Oysters. But those are the only ones. Those are the only animals. I would eat a parrot, I think. I wouldn't seek it out, but if someone offered me, I would try a little bit of parrot. Those are the only animals out there. It's okay. Certain monkeys, I think, are okay. Certain monkeys. If a monkey gets too big, it's like, this is almost cannibalism. Like a little monkey. You have like a little tiny monkey. I think that's okay. Those are fine. Guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you. I'm Danny Rathbun. One more time for Danny